Everyone. Yeah, this is my run, my first ever run that I did 5 years ago. Exactly 5 years ago. Maybe not exact, but still. So you may be wondering about the real talk part. I'm gonna get over that probably near the end of this. But first, I do want to talk about like kind of my journey throughout this whole like 5 years, and then we'll get into the other part. But first, yeah. So literally 5 years ago, I started this hobby that I never thought I would be doing, and I got a pretty good time for spending basically 2 months of just like practicing strats back in the days. Back in the day when the run was basically a 228, which is actually kind of wild because I got 218 not that long ago. But yeah, and ever since I started my first run, which I should probably go back a little bit because I initially was considering running 1.3, considering I didn't really know the fact that it was the terrible version to run on for Legacy at the time. And I think kind of what's kind of interesting that is I basically kind of took a gamble of like deciding to just stick with 1.4. And yeah, it was honestly kind of worth it at the end because honestly, I kind of just I didn't really know much about spearheading, so I kind of just said, nah, fuck it, I'll just go on 1.4 with her. And the rest was history. But yeah, the game was a lot different back then. We didn't have like we didn't even have like all this new stuff we had now, but like the run was basically like you have optimal strats. There's a couple skips you do, and a couple like spook speed strats. But I mean, I guess it kind of started like for me, I kind of started influencing like a lot of new strategies and like spook speed setups. That just helped make the game faster. Because by the time I got this, I guess a couple of months later, I would be getting a 238 and an offline run of a 237 and 236 and then 234 and then 232. Not until I get to my first ever record, which I didn't really think would happen, but hopefully this properly, I guess not. Sure. This is gonna be bugged, or whatever. My first ever, I guess, record, which was 1.4 record. I mean, Grove left. The run would have been the run could have been at the time was a 229. Actually, I wonder what the date of this actually is, 'cause I don't really. I was gonna plan on like just like kind of grabbing everything so I can kind of just have, because I don't really remember like a lot of the dates for these runs. It's been like forever. Yeah, the game was like you had basically Grove active. So I was watching him. I mean, he's the main reason why I got into this. Also, to clarify that I didn't really get from his 219 run. Actually, it was like an earlier run, probably like around like the 234 or something. A little bit earlier than that, because that was like 2 days before my birthday. The 229. Ugh, 229 is actually like back then was so old. Yeah, here we go. I can see what the date this is. November. November 23rd, 2020. So literally like 6 months. I get my first ever 1.4 record. And then from there, uh, I definitely know what the month for this is, but I got 229 on current patch, 229.52 on the last day of January, January 31st of 2021. And that's like the around time when Fish Hook one cycle, the OG Fish Hook one cycle was a thing back then. Because that thing was found basically like months after Grove got his like incredible like 225 run. That was also like post the GDQ hotfix run. But that run that I got, it didn't even have the strat in it. It was basically just playing better. Yeah, early 2021 was the first ever 229 for current patch. Fish was like basically an early Christmas Eve gift by horse. Just talking right here, right now. Did I actually post this? I don't even remember about getting. For some reason, I got 229.33. I mean, I guess some of these runs I didn't even like bother submitting. There's a couple of runs I didn't really bother submitting that I proved, but most of them are there. But after that, 228.47 happened within like the next 2 months after that, March 14th. And around that time, that's when I basically kind of got better at fish hook one cycle. Good old So-
Oh my
Yeah, that was crazy at the time. Now, when was that? When was that? God, some of these properly. That was April 30th. That was actually pretty soon than I expected that year. Absolute nightmare. Yeah, I mean, it was impressive to get it. Like it was incredibly impressive to get it at the time, especially getting two PBs is what I have. So after that, I got a 226.50 without Fish of one cycle, believe it or not. I actually managed to PB because at the time I had so much time saved with Strat because having Fish of one cycle, like my summer best was so far, like it was like 4 minutes apart. But that was that was June 12th for the 226.50. June 12th. That was basically like 5 minutes, almost 5 minutes off of summer best. And that's like without Fish of one cycle. But the next two things were crazy because this was basically how I made history, basically. Which I don't even have the up here, but I can probably pull it up on first the 225.53 happened on July 2nd, 2021. And I had a run that was basically on pace to beat Grove's run by like probably over like 30 seconds or so. So I'm gonna try to switch. This is gonna be scuffed, but I didn't really plan this, so I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna go here. Good enough for me. I
Oh
got
my
the
god.
first
No way.
ever,
There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way it did it.
first ever
There's no fucking way it did it. Oh
224.
my god.
I was, when I
Oh
was
my god.
screaming about this, I genuinely did not believe I
Oh
got
my
like
god. There's
I
no
literally beat
fucking
Grove
way.
by just on the
No.
slower patch, just like
There's
literally.
no fucking
And then I realized like, wait, did I actually get
way. Wait, is this
224 at
gonna
the same
fucking
time?
Q24?
That's absurd.
I'm shaking so hard.
Like
Oh
this, like
my god. No. I'm shaking. I'm shaking so hard right now.
this was a very emotional moment for me.
Oh my god.
the time. Like, and I'm gonna go into that a bit later because there's something I do want to talk about. That's I'll go over that near the end of this. But anyways, yeah, that was my first, I guess, crazy pop off. I mean, I had a crazier pop. My first ever actual good pop. Like, a genuine pop up was like my first 229. Yeah, this was crazy because like I like and even Grove told me that like I should have already gotten like record if I was like on Legacy. And at the time this was like basically a 220 like a mid
I don't know if I
222
fucking split
equivalent.
that earlier or not. Even if it's not, I still.
This was a great day for me. Like literally like first run of the day after that 225, like the next day I just pulled this off. Like literally like it's amazing. So yeah. What else is there? Yeah, 224 and then from there, I mean I improved my run. I mean Grove beat it back like a couple months later. I don't know how long it was, but that was around the time when like Grove like basically give the game like a few months before he basically just went away for basically for years at this point. Yeah, I did get a 224.13. I had a 224.05, which I didn't really posted, or even buttered. But the one thing I did get is a is a 223.52, which at the time Grove had a Grove had a 223. Was it 2x or 1x? I can't even remember. Gone but not forgotten. Yeah, exactly. In my eyes, like Grove kind of like was kind of like the goat for 2020 till like 2021. Before I started basically kind of absolutely going half the game. Like I was like at the time I was like improving at a rate that like I didn't really at the time I didn't realize I was actually insane. Because every time like I was improving, like Grove would just mention like man, this guy is improving. Like I like talking about me like how am I improving this fast? It's just like absolutely getting good at the game. Well, that was actually November 6th for the 223.52. Yeah, honestly, like the GOAT status like kind of like passed on to me. He's not like wrong. Like I remember the comics. I was watching on this a few times, but like yeah, he honestly said I'm actually like basically the better runner, which I mean he's not wrong because I mean there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing that he hasn't doing like because the difference between me and him at the time were like a minute apart. Just because he's able to do Amadeus skip, while I just basically said no, I'm based. basically use my skill to basically improve. Like, yeah. And then the cool thing happened. The cool comeback. And this was base. Well, it's actually kind of stupid. It's been like how many years? 3 years since I've basically maintained like not like I care about it, but like I maintained all these years like basically overall record for this long. It's actually like why is this cropped? S- There you go. Yeah, this was the time when I got the capture card around the time. I actually got I think I got my capture card around November. But it was only until like I got a new laptop in like December, like December. And this was still like my stream quality was bad until like up to until like 2023, not 2023, late 2024. But yeah, this was a great moment for me. Like, I'll deeply touching this more in detail near the end because I do want to say something. I mean, there's a couple things I want to say, but first I'm just trying to go over like kind of the history I've kind of put out in this games. Just give it a sec right here. Yes! 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 It's funny how I had the Sylvia on background. Yes! That only like
Yes!
changed in like around 2023 arrived.
Yes!
Late 2023.
Yes! Yes! Fucking yes!
Still, I don't know why it's still really.
Phew. Oh. Ah. Ah.
This is like another emotional moment for me.
Ah. Phew. Ah. Ah. Oh, oh, oh. It's finally over. Yes.
Actually, I wonder what strat I do. Oh my god, I have to freaking think yes. The Coopery strat that I was doing. Nobody that looked right to me, but maybe that was, I don't know. That looked a bit weird. I had the fucking duck sauce. Oh yeah, the behind the name behind this like number thingy, I had variations of like, okay, if I do this specific thing, this is gonna guarantee me I'm gonna get this every time. So I always had trouble. Like there's gonna be instances where I basically just like the ducky out of bounds would just not work at all. It would just fail. a couple runs. So I just had iterations like, okay, if I do this way, it'll work. In terms of the doc sauce name, I am not gonna answer that. How fast was this? Yeah, this is animal speed. All right. And then the good thing is that I have all these runs in a row, so I can actually go through them. So that was oh yeah that was that oh yeah this the date totally forgot about the date. This was a week after my 18th birthday. And funny enough is that before like a week like not before this I guess after that birthday, because on my birthday I was like spending 10 hours and it was not fun. I'll go into that maybe. But the next day I bought a TV, which I'm still currently using because I was still using the TV used for so many years. It's just the issue with that is like my setup was so scuffed, but not until I got this TV that I still use, and the setup's pretty like goated. Little tidbit of fact. Yeah, that was February 27th. And then on June 10th, this is basically the first instance of the new change of the Potter one cycle. If you remember on St. Patty's Day of 2022, Horse figure out that saying like you can just like look at this like 21938 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. My summer best was like mid 219. Now it's like 4 minutes faster than that. That was bad. I slammed that way. I guess I didn't have like a proper like way of doing it. Like I guess it had somewhat of a proper way. Like, we had this. Yeah, we did. Funny bot message. Yeah, this was this and an UG. It's just what else is there? I don't think there's anything else. It's basically like these two things. I think that's like pretty much it for this run. So yeah, that was that for that was the 2:22:37 run. And then this is the on 11th November 21st of 2022 was the 2:22:19. Yeah, I mean that's like pretty much it. I also forget, but around this time, I wasn't really that like super focused, like almost super focused on the game on 90% because I was also doing Scare because this was the year when did the we did the Olympics and the relay race, like community the two community events. I do also want to like kind of like maybe talk about that
Maybe
a
the
little bit.
first run became a
At the time, I had potential to get 221. Yeah, yeah, Duck Sauce 5 now. I eventually just get rid of the name just to be V2. And then on thing, it's been for a like 9 months. It took me like almost 9 months to get a new one. July 2nd, 2023. And this was still a 222. I got like a 222.13. Hard to tell, honestly, because I don't even know if this is what I look at. Just still with this. Yeah, it was still further than that. What about... Was it this? This is still with this. Yeah. It was still further. Still further than that. It's probably like reality, maybe around here. So on July 25th, 2023. Yeah. And actually what's funny is like I like as soon as I changed like this was literally the day I changed my background to this and I literally got a record. Like literally it's just, and this has been basically the background ever since. I mean, I don't really plan on changing it honestly, 'cause I kind of like it. I actually like it a lot. I shouldn't say I kind of like it, but this is still what the frig was that? Oh yeah. Classic Jane Clem. Still, yeah, I guess it's furthermore. Still had it named like Sauce 5. I eventually got rid of it. I know that for a fact. Okay, here we go. This is the real thing. So on 2024, the insane year of Luigi's Mansion 3 speedruns, January 22nd. So the previous run was a 221.48. That was the first ever 221. we go. We have the new one right here. Surprised it took a while. I think it's really like maybe like a month after that. But yeah, better Club 1 cycle. Please just do. Yep, the strat right here that I invented. The new strat right here. I'm pretty proud of this strat that I found. So I honestly kind of felt like there had to be a way to improve this. Yeah, this was January of 2024. You basically joined near the end of the set near the end of the year. Just gonna do oh yeah, it's with this thingy. Yeah, I forgot. We have this down strat, faster strat right here. Oh yeah, that was what I was thinking. I want to check this just because I'm pretty sure this was around the time when so yeah, this was like the first new iteration of this strat. The run. At least it's better than 221.10. It was very close to 220 right at the time, but that wasn't well, almost because on April 27th was a run that I literally genuinely think they should have not it genuinely should not have been a 220 if I somehow managed to get one. This yeah, so I also should probably forget about this because before I even get, this strat. It's wild how this has changed at the start of this year. Yeah, it took me a while just to get over there. Oh, and I even got the trapper to hit me because I actually got him his way. Barely got this shit. There's no fucking way. Dude, how? Honestly, kind of glad this was a 221 flat. Even though it doesn't seem like. How is this fucking buried? I thought this was for sure gonna be a fucking 21. Anyways. Anyways, and then the legendary day happened. This was actually a year ago, believe it or not. it's actually been a year since this run happened. Because funny enough, I got this run on the day of the 4-year anniversary of me running this game, and this was a pretty good run that I got at the time. Like a pretty good run. And this was before the armor one cycle accident or armor cycle skip accident. I could definitely get 219. And yeah, I was
We're gonna have to
219
really
capable,
play
but
well,
then like
cause I
obviously like this was around a time when LM2 HD was about to be releasing within like next month and a half. Next month and a half, yeah. So I was gonna be taking a break from the game. Yeah, how stuff went. Really nothing else to say about this. No, this was May 5th, really a year ago. That was those stuff were like later, like around August or September. This is May. This is May. So too early into there. And then when I came back on November, not came back on, but when I made my return, it was over like 6 months since my run, like 2013. On November 20th, I got the new run with the new Kaiju 2 cycle. Walk all the way around this. The yeah, it looks like that before. Still the same, but it's just slightly faster beginning. Nice. Managed to get the dupe, or managed to get the hit on phase of one. Head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Ha
this is
ha. Yeah.
and it is so much faster now. That strat. It's just,
Oh. Oh. Oh.
that was like 11, around
Oh
11.
yeah.
Oh. Yeah, this is 220.06. Yeah, right here, and I just fucking lost it. Like, I was
bruh.
so close, man, at the time. Like, I could have gone and, like,
Oh. Oh yeah. Ha ha.
in this run, but then, like,
He's actually
the next day, like, you probably would have been there, obviously, some of y'all, but the next day was, like, insane, because, like, that was, like, the most, like, the past 3 days, this day, for this run, and the next 2 days were, like, insane. 3 days I was absolutely going ham. But the following day on after this one was like pretty heartbreaking, to say the least, to watch. But even with that, I managed to come back With one of the most proudest achievements I've ever actually done in my entire life. I guess I can probably go over. Yeah, this had. I definitely wasn't going for mushroom storage because I definitely knew it wasn't really that. Like, it's technically fast if you're not doing the fastest strat, but yeah, we have this. Um, Obviously, like, yeah, as soon as I shot this bomb, I kind of knew I mean, I knew I got it basically. Man, I shook so hard, man. It was like the most insane shaking. Like the mo this was my third time shaking at the end around here, and it was the most intense shaking I ever felt.
Oh, phew. Ooh. Oh, oh. Ah, ah. Oh, oh. Ah, phew. Ah, ah. Oh, oh, oh.
That was amazing. No, you did not. You came in when I was doing 100% runs, like when I started doing 100% runs, like in late December.
Ah. Wow. Wow, wow.
Yeah, this was a great day. Yeah, you surprised me in nine. It was like, oh my God, is that the real Prince Forky? Yeah. Yeah, November 22nd, 2024. You could just go on with the next thing, but I also just kind of want to continue with this one because I mean, there's like a lot. I did say some things, but I couldn't articulate because I was so emotional at the time that I really couldn't really put the words like correctly. But obviously, like within like 5 months after that run, I got to 218 fairly quickly. And just a month of grinding. But yeah, uh, it's kind of how my journey went. But there is a couple of things I do want to say that yeah, it's wild. I mean, 216 is barely possible. I don't think it probably can happen one day for a current patch. Legacy is going to be like obviously take away 2 minutes. It's 214, so that's literally sub 215 for that. But so where do we start with this? Um, because there's a couple updates I do want to say. Just a couple of things, like what plans I have because I do a lot of them were basically kind of delayed, and I kind of want to like express how I'm feeling like after these like past months, but also like as well as like the last like 5 years I spent doing this. So find more things. I'm sure we'll find maybe. I mean, we keep finding stuff like even after 2024. I mean, I was thinking of like heading into this 2025. It's just that's it. That's it. Like that's it that we have, you know. Just a matter of time we just improve, but no. I mean there's still more left. I mean, you just never know, it could be some weird thing that we just don't even take into account or don't even realize the potential it has. But yeah. Anyways, it's really been it's been an insane journey for this because I didn't see myself doing this for long, and I'm kind of surprised I did because I mean I at some point I did considered quitting, and the only reason why I say that is because at the time I felt like I couldn't really take it anymore with running the game, but also at the same time dealing with mental health issues. And what I mean by that is that like I during the start of the pandemic, like not really this at the start. So we'll go back to like 2020, for instance. Around around the fall of that year until like the summer of 2021, I've kind of went through a depression at that time, and it wasn't a fun experience. And Sorry if I don't. It's hard to think about it right now because it just to clarify, I there's no one in the community or anyone outside has done anything wrong to me. It's mostly just how I was dealing with our IRL, and I I genuinely wish I was more open about it, and I just was too afraid to talk about it because I didn't want to be like a plotter, or I just didn't want to feel like I was ridiculed of what I'm doing, because at the time I was struggling with schoolwork, and I the way it was done, it did not feel it didn't feel humane for me, and it gave me a hard time to really just it gave me a hard time to really just progress in my education, I and looking back, let me just get this. You know, I tried so hard to not really think and feel emotional about thinking about this because it's like it was the most painful experience I had, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if there was going to be hope for me. Before I even started like this hobby, I was just a pretty much average kid who just does what people have done. My hobby was just like, being a gamer, and I was basically a good kid at school. I always paid attention, do my do my work, and get good grades. But when the pandemic rolled around, uh, a lot of me changed, and some for the better, some for the worse. But it It the amount of mental trauma I had kind of just broke me on the inside, and I just wasn't so sure if I was gonna be around for long. But even with that happening, it did give me a new eye opening. It did give me a new opening view of what I want to do in my life. Because at the time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I kind of just basically just follow like the typical NPC night mindset. You know, you just do this, and you know, when I never really was able to break out that cage of thinking about what I want to do, really what I want to do, and and during the time when I was doing runs and you know whatnot, it 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 definitely helped me figure out who I am and what I should be, and it just wasn't a very easy time between having to deal with the school shenanigans and running. I felt like I've tried using all that pain and anger inside just to pull it all out and run the game, but it could have been just half of that, but also like a part of me wanted just to stop and just not really feel 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 alive, but a part of my heart kept telling me just to keep going, no matter how hard it was that I was dealing. And even with the therapy I got, I kind of felt uncomfortable speaking about what I do, and especially speaking on what I was going through. Included with that, I just wasn't sure if I was gonna make it, but I it it was definitely a hard gamble to just go ahead and not really try hard at my education because I just didn't really care because I just it did make me realize how bullshit the fucking education system is, but also how I was treated for not doing for what is harming my own health for. And I know I'm saying a lot of things that I just don't. It's hard to articulate what I'm trying to say, but the point is, I it was a big risk of not trying to do better well in my RL than just doing this hobby because I kind of just chose. I chose this over anything else. Because in my heart, I just felt, I felt that it was better just to put all my focus onto this than just anything else. Because I was just having a hard time. And, and even after all of that, when I got into my, what is it? Like 11th grade? Yeah, 11th grade. When I got into next year, like I was all I was doing now was just trying to just recover and reflect on what I felt for the next year or two, you know. And that was really the point when I just like I I I wasn't sure if I wanted to just keep going with this hobby because 20 from late 2021 to like early to mid 2022, I just wasn't sure if I wanted to stick around. But I did start to realize that do that that people do care about what I do and they really want to support it, you know. That's why I was able to get a capture card in the first place. I was able to get affiliate, but even with that, when when my 18th birthday arrived in 2022, and I spent 10 hours trying to get a run, I just after that whole stream, I I genuinely considered quitting after that. Not just because of the game. I just not just mostly because of the game, but it was mostly because of recovering from the trauma I had from those first few years or first year and a half. And even if I even with that, I managed the next day to pull through and get around next week. After that, like I did have one moment where I kind of I had also another moment that I just kind of like a freak out moment where I posted a tweet longer, just by, I'm just really done with the game or whatnot. But I, I just, something in me just tells me I just couldn't see it happening. And, and I don't know if it was cope or just the fact that I genuinely just didn't want to care in the world about. I wasn't so sure if I was doing the right thing. If spending all this time on this one thing was the best use of my time. After that, the next 2 years or so was spending just feeling unsure if if all of this was worth it in the end. And, and during those 2 years from like I guess from the start of 2023 and I guess from the end of 2022 to like 2024. I wasn't I wasn't sure if I was making use of my time and not even trying to really find a career because I genuinely all I wanted was just to do this. And I definitely took the time to really reflect how I felt and what I wanted to do and ultimately I did came to the conclusion that like I definitely needed to feel my own my own emotions ultimately
and really try to express myself openly because I, for the longest time, I've just like been kind of timid and quiet about stuff, and I, I, I never had the courage to really say anything more openly and honestly. I definitely felt that I was basically on my own this whole thing, and it definitely felt lonely at times, and I tried not letting that bother me too much, and I ultimately am just hopeful that I just make the right call of what I want, the best judgment of what should I be doing, because I I sp- I spent a lot of time on this, and even though it's not really that well known about, and it's not a very viable way of seeing a career out of it, but I'm I genuinely feel like I make something work out with it somehow, and even though I don't really have a plan in my head, future and how I want to go about things, I do want to live in the moment, in the present, what I should be doing, and I want to continue doing this for the next 5 years or so. I'm just hoping that after this, that I that I can start putting more of my potential out there, and just hope that all this time spent, all this investment I spent on this game was worth it in the end. Because after getting 219, I that was the most I put all of my heart and soul into this game. For that run to happen. Just after after getting that run at 219, I I'm starting to believe that I can do this. Sorry, this is I know I'm not really that open, but I do want to be more open about stuff and how I feel about certain things and what's my vision on a lot of the stuff that I plan for. And but yeah, after getting that 219, like I said, I do feel more confident that I can do so much more with what I do, and I'm gonna continue trying to I'm gonna continue trying to make this work somehow. Even though it may not be the most rewarding thing. However, it is the one thing I want to do, and I'm gonna continue doing it. Even if I don't have a backup plan of securing any second career choice, I'm gonna try my very best to make this work. So, yeah. Um, I really didn't think I would get emotional. I was prepared to not cry, but I genuinely did not expect to feel emotional talking about this so because I never really got. Yeah, I just I didn't really think I would get this emotional today, but it it's a good way of showing of what I'm trying to do here, and I'm hoping that I can at least provide more at me when it comes to everything I know about the game and what I like to do with the hobby that I like to do, especially speedrunning in general. And I'm definitely not letting go of it anytime soon. And like I said, I'm going to continue grinding and doing my best to make sure that this doesn't die, or if I don't, or this doesn't and that I don't lose this special niche that I have. Yeah. Um, in terms of the other stuff I was planning on talking about, I'm just gonna keep this like short and sweet, but I was planning on like in my update video that I made like months ago, I was planning on working on guides and whatnot, but like a lot of the stuff has kind of like been pushed just due to archiving and whatnot. Because the Twitch announcement caused basically the whole Spirit community to panic. Even though we were given an extra month to archive, it's still quite annoying to have to deal with it because it's like there's a lot of great runs out there, and I try my best to get everything that's on the L3 boards and whatnot. And yeah. Um, I'm gonna try to make the tutorial, probably try to start working on it soon this month. I don't want to promise anything because I don't think I'm gonna able to get it out. Maybe I'll be able to get it out, but that's depending on how much I put into it. Um, I do want to start streaming more often. I do want to take a lot of my time onto this streaming stuff, especially for speedrunning, particularly. And I want to grow. I want to start growing this channel and the YouTube channel and whatnot. I want to start making videos about the game. It's just like this year's been kind of a weird year and not really a good year for me because I just like it hasn't been a good start for me in terms of like great potential, and I it has been kind of annoying to have to wait around to do other things. And either way, um, I think that'll be it for me for now. I don't take this any longer. I just hope that all of that made any sense, and I'll try to be more open and honest how am I feeling and in the future, near future, and hopefully we can do some more amazing things for the rest of the year. So, yeah, um, that'll be it for me for now. I I don't have plans on doing anything else. I kind of just wanted to talk honestly and openly. Uh, yeah. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.